This video is sponsored by Boxu. More on them in a minute. Are you looking for a party game to add to your gaming collection? I am certain that all of you said no. One could assume that if you clicked on this video, you are probably an Animal Crossing fan. Some people may have started with New Horizons, others maybe have played the old games, but there is one game that continuously flies under the radar, and that game is Amiibo Festival. Amiibo Festival is notorious for being the most hated Animal Crossing game, and I had never played it before, so I wanted to see what all of the fuss is about, and so I did. And I have a lot to say about it. But before we get into today's video, we need to talk about today's sponsor, Boxu. Boxu is a delicious Japanese snack, candy, and tea pairing subscription box that gets delivered right to you monthly. During cherry blossom season, Boxu has been sending these adorable, well, they're getting it's a little washed out looking, but adorable pink boxes. And they are full to the brim with cherry blossom snacks. This month features Sakura Story. It has the perfect blend of sweet cookies, salty chips, and a beautiful green tea pairing. If you order by the end of March, you get this amazing Sakura themed box with all of these cute and yummy snacks. Boxu has an unmatched dedication to teaching you about where your snacks come from. This little booklet has so much information on the cultural significance of your snacks, their flavor profiles, just like everything that you would need to know. And Boxu uplifts local businesses in Japan as well, and you know what? It just really sets them apart from other subscription boxes for me. Also, don't forget about Boxu Boutique. You can order snacks from past boxes, they have a great home decor section, and they have some awesome gifts on there. Boxu is perfect for anybody who is interested in Japanese snacks and culture, and make sure to use my code LISS15 for $15 off of your very first Boxu order. Thank you, Boxu, for sponsoring this video. I love working with them. Their products are just such high quality. I adore them. All right, back to the video. Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's most beloved series. Regardless of what you think of each game, Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's biggest darlings and just a consistent banger for the company. The first game, Dabutsu no Mori, or Animal Forest, was released in 2001 exclusively in Japan. There were several re-releases of the game with added features, but the game quickly saw a lot of success for being a brand new franchise. The first Animal Crossing is the 7th best-selling game on the Nintendo GameCube, having sold 2.7 million copies. Pretty impressive considering that the 6 games above it on the list were well-established titles. In 2005, we got Animal Crossing Wild World, which is my favorite game. Okay, I'm coming out as a Wild World lover. And that game also got pretty good reviews. Some critics did think that it lacked in certain areas. This review is especially funny to me because even in 2005, there were complaints about having to open your gates to have friends visit your town. I really do wonder what that critic would say now. Wild World was the 9th best-selling game on the Nintendo DS. I also think it's kind of funny that Nintendogs was the 2nd, outselling Animal Crossing by more than 10 million copies, and no new game since 2011. But I digress. The next Animal Crossing game to come out was City Folk for the Wii. That one was met with a lot of mixed reviews. People compared it to its predecessor Wild Worlds because it was a lot similar. It just wasn't like the most innovative game of the series. Was it the worst reviewed Animal Crossing game? No. Trust me, we're getting there. Plenty of gamers were wholly satisfied with City Folk, however. True fans of the franchise were just stoked with what the game had to offer. The Wii motion controls gave it a totally different feel and made the game feel like a lot more physically interactive, of course. And, you know, truthfully, I think City Folk has some of the best music in the franchise. Sue me. And then 2012 came around and Nintendo released Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS. It was riveting stuff, guys. There were so many added features. As the mayor of your New Leaf town, the possibilities were truly endless. And then in 2015, Happy Home Designer was released, which was its own separate game, but, you know, really built on what New Leaf was doing. And it obviously focused a lot more on the home decoration aspect of it. But you know what else 2015 2015 also brought the topic of today's video. Some would say it's Nintendo's most blatant money grab, and that game is called Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. In 2015, I would assume that there's not really that much demand for a new Animal Crossing game. It was only 2 years after the release of New Leaf, and then a couple months after Happy Home Designer, but knowing Animal Crossing fans now, I mean, I don't want to make that assumption. If they could have a new game every month, they would. This was also technically the first Animal Crossing game to be released on the Wii U. Excluding the Plaza thing, I still don't really understand what that is. It kind of looks like a Mii Plaza, but with like Animal Crossing characters, right? Not a game, I don't think. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. So when Nintendo showed this trailer at E3 in 2015, fans of the franchise were probably very excited at this Isabelle Amiibo reveal. So people probably got their hopes up, and then they see this. A game board, you know, very interesting. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be a mainline game, okay. I imagine that whatever hype that people were feeling at the time kind of turned into collective disappointment because it's like, do we really need Animal Crossing to be the skin of a basic party game? But how basic is it? So first of all, I got my very first Wii U to play Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I never had this console. I don't know where I was when that came out. Nevertheless, it is the strangest console experience I think that I have ever had. I guess the best way to describe it would be a mix of the Wii and the console that came after it, the Switch. It's got two parts. It's got that thing and the other thing. It's a lot more complex than I thought it was gonna be. But then again, the idea for the Switch had to come from somewhere, right? I also have been slowly collecting Amiibo figurines just for fun, so I'll probably be able to do a whole lot of stuff within Amiibo Festival itself, I guess. I'm wondering if certain characters have special actions in the game or something. I don't really know what to expect. The copy of Amiibo Festival I got from Amazon includes the Isabelle and Digby figurines, as well as some Amiibo cards. These are so cute. The villagers are so outdoorsy. Believe it or not, I could not get my hands on a used copy of this game anywhere. Several stores would have the disc by itself, but I'm really picky, and I don't know, I'm like starting to be a collector, so I really wanted the case. So I ended up just buying it new. Once I got everything opened up, I booted up my Wii U and gave Amiibo Festival a few hours of my life. More like several days, let's be honest. You can play with up to 4 players. However, I am going to be playing by myself. To compensate, the game inserts 3 additional NPC villagers to soften the blow of playing a party game all by myself. Here's how the game works. It's a board game. Each player will begin their turn by rolling the dice that dictates where they land on the board. There are several spaces that positively affect the player and negatively affect the player. The game has a few currencies that contribute to your overall score, bells, which we're all familiar with as Animal Crossers, and happy points. Happy points and bells are rewarded to the player if they land on a good pink tile, and taken away if the player lands on a bad purple tile. At the end of the game, the player with the most happy points wins first place. And each 1,000 bells is a happy point too, giving players a chance to bump up their overall score if they make buco bucks. At first, the game is very simple. At the start of your turn, you touch your Amiibo figurine to the NFC touchpoint on the Wii U gamepad to roll the dice. You move, and once the round ends, another day in-game begins. Each turn is a new day within a month and corresponds to various holidays and events in the greater Animal Crossing universe. Once you reach the first Sunday of the month, however, that is where it gets interesting. The Dow Jones stock market is in full effect in Amiibo Festival. Yes, sirree. Joan will come on Sundays, just like in previous games, and sell each player turnips that they will have to sell by Sunday, giving the player an opportunity to profit or end the week on a loss. The game tiles now have sell prices that will fluctuate weekly or daily depending on what the game decides to do to you. There are tons of special events triggered by various visitors in game too. Red will occasionally come to sell the player's cards, like the move X amount of spaces cards, or cards that can change the spaces on the board itself, and the player can use the cards at the start of the turn. Katrina will also visit and use tarot cards to predict a player's fortune for a short period period of time and give players advantages or disadvantages whenever anyone rolls a certain side. The other events occur less and are a little bit more minor. Characters such as Katie, Dr. Shrunk, and Phineas will randomly visit, and holiday-specific characters do their own little thing too. You are able to select the month that you play in, making each game a little bit more different with the holiday events. You can also set the game's length as well. So you can do 30 minutes, 45, an hour, I think, or you can do unlimited time if you want to go through each day of the month. That's fine too. Some other cute things about the board game include collecting gyroid stamp spots, giving the players who complete all 4 stamp spots a huge happy points bonus, twice dice day, fishing and bug tourneys, and honestly, even more cool stuff happens too. One thing I will say is I feel like there could be actual mini games implemented into the board game itself. The game just tells you that you're fishing and you caught a fish, and I think it would be cool if the player could actually fish, I mean, it's Animal Crossing, for crying out loud. Like, I'm pretty sure they got the whole fishing thing, down. After playing my first board game, I was like, okay, what else does this game have to offer? Is that it? I mean, no wonder this game completely bombed. And then I saw that there are actual mini games, not attached to the actual board game itself, but completely separate game modes that can be unlocked with happy tickets. At that moment, I knew what I must do. I must cheese. I played so many Amiibo Festival games, guys. I had my entire Amiibo figurine army put to work. So many 4-player games were played. I felt like a little puppet master, controlling all the players on the board at once. But my God, was it effective. Eventually, I had unlocked every single minigame. But were they any good? Was this all worth it? No. I will say most of them are horrendous and not fun, especially if you're a single player. Overall, the Amiibo card functionality for these games is really clunky and relies way too much on tapping an Amiibo to play the game at all. There was one minigame that I thought was super interesting, however, and that is Desert Island Escape. I think a lot of people thought so too because the minigame was ported to New Leaf in the Welcome Amiibo update. So if you have played New Leaf, you may be familiar with this, but basically you tap 3 villagers into a deserted island, and they move around the map section by section trying to find materials for a raft so they can escape the island. How humane. Each villager will have special advantages, tools can be crafted, and resources can be collected to help progress in the game. I thought Desert Island Escape was fun and engaging, and definitely the best of all the game modes in Amiibo Festival. The rest were total trash. The minigame I did play the most, however, was Balloon Island. This game is unlocked by default and definitely the easiest one to cheese for happy tickets. I did spend a lot of time in the board game playing all by myself, but if I ever had just one more ticket to go to unlock something, I would play Balloon Island and it worked out pretty good. I would consider those happy tickets farmed. So what would I rate Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival? I'm scared to put a numeric value on it. Let me say though, I'm coming out and I'm saying it, I think people are way too hard on this game. Animal Crossing as a party game, I mean, what a concept. There are so many characters and quirky actions, dialogues, and elements that can be added to a party game from this franchise alone. I'll be honest, aside from a few criticisms, I thought the board game was pretty rad. Allowing players to pick which month they want to play in spices up the game at least 12 times. And you can even change the map up with happy points a little bit. I don't know, I think it was a cute idea. Dare I say, I had fun playing it, even by myself. In terms of overall sales, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival sold like shit, obviously. It is the worst selling Animal Crossing game to date, aside from the initial release of Animal Forest. It has sold less copies than even the worst and most obscure Mario Party games. But it was very, very close to meeting the worst ones, so I guess there's something. It did achieve its goal of manufacturing and selling more Amiibo figurines, I guess. For me, personally, the whole Amiibo thing was kind of a turnoff, especially since the game is unplayable without them. I don't really mind Amiibo figurines having special functions within games, but to make a whole game centered around the use of them is just a turnoff for me. It was really gimmicky in my opinion. I need to buy a figurine so that every few minutes I can use it to tap to roll the dice. Maybe it would have been cooler to just have the player be like a human villager, and then the figurines could be used in game for like special buffs or like different roles and stuff. Did we just, yeah, that would have been cooler, actually. Somebody needs to hire me. My brain. Just kidding. That was probably not an original thought, but you know. Would the game have been fun if I did not have a bazillion amiibo figurines and cards? No. Not having 4 figurines would have made this whole experience unbearable as a single player, since I probably would have needed to play 4 times more games total to unlock everything, right? I liked the board game, but not that much. And that's not even getting into the insanely high amiibo card requirement for some of these board games. I also felt that it was unnecessary that board games could only be played with figurines and not cards, and then mini games could only be played with cards, not figurines. At first, I was trying to rationalize this with being like, okay, the little dialogue boxes that pop up on screen can sometimes be specific to which character you're using, and having to make a few hundred character-specific dialogues rather than like 20 or whatever would be way hard. I get that. And at least there is card functionality for a portion of the game, excluding Sanrio and Series 5. But then I found out you can move amiibo card villagers into the board game town and let them roll an unlimited amount of times for any player. And I'm just like, what? That annoys me. I mean, it did make cheese in the game to collect happy tickets to unlock all the mini games go by so much quicker, since I basically just held the card over the touch point for like the entirety of the game. It's not that big of a deal, but anyways, complainers gonna complain. I'd give Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival a cute out of 10. Just kidding. I would give it a 5. Like, let's be real. This isn't the worst game of all time that some people would have you believe. It was cute and fun for what it is. But don't rush to buy a Wii U, the game, amiibo figurines, and amiibo cards just to play Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Do not do that at all. Unless you're an amiibo enthusiast and already have a bunch, and we're also thinking about collecting and buying a Wii U if you don't already have one. I would not go out and invest in this game. Let it die, honestly. I know people on Twitter are buying 3DSs and playing New Leaf since, you know, the New Horizons burnout is real. So if you need your Animal Crossing itch scratched, go that direction, not Wii U Amiibo Festival direction. But since I do have it, I am excited to one day maybe have people to play it with me instead of sitting here by myself for a whole week playing a party game by myself. You know what? It can only go up from here. Thank you so much for watching my video. Yeah, so I didn't really know how to like drop that nuclear bomb, but I am fine. I'm living with my mom and my sister in my mom's apartment, so I am all good. This is also a very temporary situation. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. So thank you for being patient with videos. I really am only gonna put up what I need to, just until I like get stuff figured out, okay? I do stream on Twitch and I upload a lot of my Twitch content to my second channel, so make sure you check that out. I also do upload the full VODs elsewhere. You know, I'll put everything up. If you liked this video, you would probably like the one that I did on Pocket Camp, so make sure you go watch that. Thank you guys so much for the support. It is much appreciated during these trying times. Don't forget about Boxu, and I hope you're having a great day and you continue to do so, and I will see you in the next one.